Quick video. Some of you weren't happy that I wasn't happy with the performance of this trigger, saying everything from I'm stupid to I wasn't using it properly to I didn't follow the instructions. Well, I may be stupid. Anyway, I did that. I did try an H2 buffer as per their recommendation, but that was a little later on in the video, so you may not have seen it. Of course, what I didn't try was an H3 buffer, which is what everyone says you really need to get this thing working properly. Now, normally I wouldn't even humor the naysayers, but since I am selling this thing tonight, for double profit, by the way, let's get some closure. So all that being said, this is the FRT-15, once again, using an H3 buffer. Let's see what happens. All right, so as you can see, it does work a little bit better. Had a brief bump there, but once again, that trigger is just dead, meaning that we had either a light primer strike or some hammer follow or something like that. Let's take a look at this round, and we do indeed have a light primer strike. Now, I know some of you cringed at me burning all of this ammo last time, and trust me, I did too, but this is all for the pursuit of science. So let's try this a little bit more, see if we have any more luck. Maybe that was just a fluke. And dead trigger once again. So it seems to like the double tap, but that's about it. Like I said, this is using the H3 buffer, about 150 grams on the nose, so exactly to spec. But it's still not working. So what is the problem here? A lot of you pointed out that it may be bolt bounce, and yes, I agree. After looking at some of the slow motion footage, it does seem like that may be our problem. But using an H3 buffer, it really shouldn't be doing that. Now the question is then, is that a problem with the gun itself or with the timing on this trigger? How do we isolate that? Well, that's where this little guy comes in. This is an actual registered driving auto sear on loan from local SOT FFL, because we all want to see how this plays out. So this is using the same exact upper receiver, same exact parts, same exact everything, using a carbine gas and carbine spring. Now this is using a different lower because this isn't mine, of course, but otherwise it's all mil spec, it's all completely standard, no differences. Let's take a brief look here and see how this is actually supposed. Something like that. As you can see, the gun isn't necessarily the problem. To me, this is all speculation. I'm not going to do much digging here, but it seems to me like the issue is some sort of timing with the trigger itself. I trust I've made my point. I said this before, and I'll say it again. You really shouldn't invest so heavily in defending companies that failed to deliver. And here's the thing. I know some of these out there work. I've seen them. You've seen them. Some of these work wonderfully, reliably, with no problems whatsoever. I don't care if every single other trigger out there works perfectly fine. This one doesn't, and that's what I'm here to show you. Oh, and one more thing before I get out of here. Some of you were saying something wrong with my bolt carrier group. No, that was a BCM full auto bolt carrier group. But okay, let's address that. This is also a full auto bolt carrier group. In fact, this is one of the Gucciest of Gucci you can possibly Gucci. Let's try this one and see how it does. Once again, still on the H3 buffer and a new bolt carrier group. Once again, the same exact issue. Oh, by the way, this is all brand new ammo that I had to buy at about $1.20 a round just to do this test. So appreciate the process. Also for reference, I'm holding the trigger lightly instead of heavily. This is heavy. As you can see, it holds the bolt carrier open. But that does bring me to another interesting point. Some people say, oh, it's really hard to do single shots with this. Not exactly. See, this is kind of a pseudo-progressive trigger, just in reverse. If you want to do single shots, you pull it all the way to the rear. If you want to go full auto, if your trigger is working, that is, you just hold it lightly. Observe. Well, that's all the ammo I have, but I hope that demonstrates exactly what I'm talking about here. If you want single shots, just hold the trigger back. Easy peasy. Now, if you excuse me, this little guy is about to go buy me dinner.